Welcome back to the channel. If you're looking for ways to reduce your current credit card's interest rate, here are the steps you need. Step number one, I want you to evaluate your current situation, boss. I want you to take a piece of paper and write down your things about your current situation, your credit score, your net worth. Okay, I want you to also look at the particulars of the credit card that you currently have. Okay, you want to think about the grace period, the credit card terms, the stipend due date, and your current credit card balance. The balance is very important because basically you're telling them, because your balance will play an important role when it comes to your CUR calculation, your credit utilization ratio. So by coming prepared, you are setting yourself up to do a better job when it comes to evaluating the options your credit card companies might offer. Okay, and don't forget to check your credit. Very important to know where you are at on the credit score on the FICO spectrum. And the thing is, you can use this as leverage in your negotiations. Okay, having strong credit may indicate that you are likely to repay your balances and what you owe, so credit card companies may be more willing to meet your request. What I'm trying to say here is what, even if you have bad credit, it's always a great idea to actually check your credit score before you want to start negotiating, because you might be thinking that I have a bad credit score, but when you actually check, you realize, hey, things ain't really that bad. I thought I was around 550 or 545 or 595 and whatnot, and I realized that I'm around 650 or 675. Think about that. Think about the gap between what you have, 545, what you thought initially, 545, and the reality. And see, the thing is, we have to talk about, when we talk about checking your credit score, I'm asking you to check your credit score on all three bureaus. You want to know what exactly TransUnion is saying about you, what Experian has about you, and what Equifax is talking about you. Okay, and there are free platforms like annualcreditreport.com where you are able to actually check your credit score for free. The same thing happens if you sign up with Experian or Equifax. They have apps where you are able to monitor your credit score for free. So, boss, what I'm trying to say is what? Bottom line is, I want you to evaluate your current situation so you have a clear idea of where you stand before you even contact the credit card company. Okay, very important, because you want to know if you are in a strong position or if you are in a less than strong position. In other words, your situation is not that strong, so you have to actually tailor the talking points based on your current standing, financially speaking. Boss, the second thing I want you to do is to build your credit first if you need to. See, the thing is, you evaluated your current situation. That was the first step, right? So what if you realize that, hey, listen, my credit score really ain't really that good right now. Like, I'm around 500. Then, hey, listen, the thing here is that knowledge is power. If you have a less than optimal credit, what you want to do is you want to start working to rebuilding your credit to make sure that you look more credit worthy to the bank or credit card company. Very important. Okay, and when we talk about rebuilding your credit score, one thing that you really have to pay attention to is your credit utilization ratio. So this is basically the percentage of your credit limit that you are using. Okay, and make sure that you keep this at 30% or less. I've said this before on multiple shows. People talk to you about 33%, 40%, and whatnot. Here on this show, we are telling you to be as conservative as possible when it comes to CUR. So 30% or less is actually the ideal situation you want to be in. Okay, so what you want to do here is that knowledge is power. You want to understand that knowledge is power. Your CUR actually accounts for 30% of your FICO score. Your payment history accounts for 35%. So what I want you to do, I want you to look at those two things and really improve them. Okay, boss, if you're currently around 550, if you have poor credit, what I want you to do, I want you to really zero in on those two criteria. So we have a payment history, 35%, and a CUR, 30%. So I don't know if you want to have an app or you want to have a reminder or an Excel spreadsheet or something manual where you are constantly monitoring those two metrics every single month. And the thing is, it ain't really that complicated. I'm not asking you to do this over 6 months. No, do this over 90 days or over 2 months. Okay, so you monitor every week. You have an Excel spreadsheet, or you have some kind of sheets where every week you monitor your FICO score, and also so you monitor your FICO score, your CUR, and also make sure that you improve your payment history. What do I mean by that, boss? I want you to make payments weekly. Every week, I want you to make payments on your credit cards. Right now, you're probably making payments every month. You're waiting for the 28th or 27th of the month where they ask you, if they tell you the due date and whatnot. Okay, that's kind of cool. I'm asking you right now to make payments every week so that you can improve your payment history and improve your FICO score. The reason is that you don't want to wait for that particular time of the month where your credit card company actually sends your data to the credit reporting agencies. You want to do this continually, okay? So this is what it is. Step number 3, boss. By the way, I just want to remind you of today's topic. We're speaking about how to reduce your credit card's APR, okay? Step number 3, you want to find competing credit card offers. See, the thing is, before you even call your credit card company, I want you to make sure that you do research about what the competition is offering. Because when you talk to your credit card company, if they see that you basically have done research and you're comfortable that you might get offers from other card issuers, they will be more amenable to you. See, the thing here is that the credit card company, they want to keep your business, okay? Even if you have bad credit, you still represent business to them because you probably are not paying your balance in full every month, so they're charging you some interest. So for them, interest is income. Okay. So for example, what I'm trying to say here is what if you are with Chase, okay, and even if you have bad or fair credit, doesn't matter. If you are with Chase, what you want to do is you want to look around what Bank of America is offering, what Citi is offering, what Wells Fargo is offering, okay, what PNC, US Bank, and whatnot, what other banks are offering, and then you sort of study that, and you just take the top 3 and you write them down. And when I'm talking about offers, I'm speaking about the card itself, the credit card itself, the APR, the potential APR you might qualify for, okay, the terms and the limit, the potential limit. So you go back to Chase and actually say, listen, I really have this offers from your rivals, and I think I want to stay with you guys, but please help me out here. Remember, credit card issuers and banks need to compete with other banks to acquire more customers. That means they need to stay competitive with their rates, okay? So do your homework and look for other available credit cards. If you find, let's say, if you find a similar card to yours that offers a better rate, note the card's name, company, and terms, okay? You want to share this information when you reach out to the bank. One thing I want to say here is that you also want to call the rest of your issuers. You probably have other credit cards in your wallet right now. So if you have other credit cards in your wallet, make sure that you simultaneously negotiate with multiple issuers. Don't just put all your eggs in the same basket and trying to focus on only one card. No, you never know which card is going to give you the best lower rate. Very important. So credit card, boss. Do you currently have multiple credit cards? If yes, have you tried to look at those issuers and see if they are offering you competing offers? If not, I want you to do that right now. Step number 4, and this is an important element that a lot of cardholders actually do not understand. Remember, you need to understand the credit card company's perspective, okay? You can better negotiate if you understand what the bank or credit card company needs to see on its end to agree to your request. What I'm trying to say here is you want to show empathy. You want to be in their shoes. You want to really understand how they're thinking, okay? Sometimes the bank will need to ensure customers were lower risk before agreeing to drop the interest rate. What I'm trying to say here is you want to have a lower APR, okay? What are you offering the bank? You got to think about that, okay? What are you bringing to the table? What kind of skin do you have in the game? It's very important because when you ask, let's say you want to negotiate with a lender or a credit card issuer for that matter, when you ask for a lower rate, it's important to have a general idea of what you want to say. So we cannot emphasize enough how important being prepared can be. So once all your information is in order and you have a good idea of what you want and what you need for that matter, right? You are ready to negotiate. So you want to begin by calling the account you have had the longest, as account longevity and history may provide you with some leverage. What I'm trying to say here, when you call, you always want to start the conversation by saying, listen, guys, I've been with you since 2010, for example. or I've been with you since 2005. I've been a good customer, blah, 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 blah. This is actually, right off the bat, this is a great leverage for you, okay? Your bank may recognize you as a profitable customer if you've been banking with them for a long time. So be sure to emphasize your stellar rate payment record, any better offers from rival companies, and or your unexpected financial hardship. So make your case respectfully, but be firm about your needs. Very important. When we talk about respectfully, I'm talking about thinking about your tone. You are asking for a favor, boss. You're not asking. This is not a demand. This is not your right. No, it is a favor for the bank to actually lower your APR. Okay, and do not be discouraged if the rep tells you there is nothing they can do. Politely ask to be directed to a supervisor, and if you are still told a reduction is not possible, consider asking for a temporary change. Okay, they may be more likely to allow a temporary change, which actually may help you find a better option or a new company to do business with. Okay, and this is really important. And so when we talk about, you can also ask for a temporary break. So if your issuer is not willing to offer a lower rate indefinitely, ask for a temporary reprieve. For example, a 1 year rate reduction from, let's say, you can ask them to say, listen, can you please reduce my APR from let's say 15% to 12% for 1 month, for one year. Okay, be sure to mention if your credit score has recently gone up, which can show that you will make payments on time and return. Okay. Step number 5, boss, I want you to call and make your request. So you have done all the analysis. You have actually studied all the pros and cons. You have thought about the strength that you have currently. Now it's really important that you start making the call, okay? You have to make the request. And so how do you do this? Well, the thing is, I want you to really call the customer service number listed on the back. So when you reach a representative, first thing first, you want to be very specific about the card that you want. If you have multiple credit cards with the same bank, make sure that you tell them exactly which credit card you are calling about, okay? And right off the bat, you want to make sure that you talk about your credit. For example, you say, hey, hello, good evening or good morning or good afternoon, whatever. I want to discuss my APR on this specific credit card. For example, the Wells Fargo Reflect card, okay? And then after the card, you talk about your credit score. You can say, listen, I just checked my credit score, and my credit score is blah, 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 600 or 650 or 71, whatever. You want to actually remind the representative of that because it's very important. You want to tell them, hey, listen, my credit score has gone up. It has been going up for the last, say, 6 months. Okay. See, you are building up to the conversation. You are racking up your arguments in your favor. So that's number 2. So number 1, the card you're calling about. Number 2, your credit score. Number 3, your banking history. If you bank with the same card, with the same institution, you want to mention your banking history. And what you're speaking about, you want to say, listen, I've been banking with you since blah, blah, blah. I said this just a few minutes ago. It's very important to remind the bank how long you have been a profitable customer for them. Okay. And so you talk about your banking history. And number 4, you talked about the offers, the potential offers you may have received from rivals. Okay. Sometimes people actually say, listen, if you don't receive offers, you can actually make things up. Now, I'm not sitting here asking you to be dishonest here, but you have to see what really works for you. We personally, in our team, we have never been in a position where we were making things up, because when you have good credit, you have offers all the time. But if you don't have good credit, you may try it. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's not a big deal anyway. You're just trying to use it as a leverage, okay? So you mentioned offers from rivals, and number 5, this is when you place the request. You ask them, could you please reduce, and always be specific. Say, listen, I would like my APR to go from 15%, 15.99% to 12.99% or 10.99%. You want to ask for something very radical, very, very, very steep. Basically, the bank will actually deny your request, but they might meet you. They might meet you in the middle somewhere. So if you ask for 10.99, they might give you 12.99, and it's all good anyway. The next thing I want you to really have here is that don't be afraid to negotiate again in the future. See, the whole thing here is that chances are you might not get your request approved the first time, even if you speak to a manager. Okay, things happen. This is life, and sometimes it doesn't work. What you want to do, I want you to write things down right now. What you want to do here is that after you call, first of all, when you call and you get a denial, I want you to really call again. You want to call next week, right? Or just write it down. You want to call next week, because sometimes you might speak to a rep who may not be in a good mood, whatever. I mean, you just that day was not just your lucky day. So what you want to do is you call next week, and you rinse and repeat the steps that I just gave you earlier. You do the same thing, and then you call it a third time. You have to call 3 times. So if the first time is a denial, second time is a denial, you call a third time. If it is a denial, then you just stop calling. Okay. What I'm trying to say here is that sometimes things happen, and things may not happen the time that you want them to happen. You got to be patient here, okay? You want to keep detailed notes of all your calls. If a credit card issuer is unable to lower your current interest rate, even for a short time, call again in 3 to 6 months. Asking again will not hurt, especially if you continue to make your payments on time. And be sure to mention any new lower rate card offers you have gotten from competing issuers in the meantime. And while you can threaten to cancel your credit card if the issuer does not agree to your request, know that doing so could negatively impact your credit score, and we do not recommend that, okay? And canceling a credit card reduces your overall available credit, which means you'll be using a higher proportion of it if you have debt on other credit cards. And a higher credit utilization ratio can hurt your credit scores. I'm not even talking about length of credit history, which is another criterion that goes into your FICO score. So don't do this, okay? So here is the approach I want you to follow. After 3 to 6 months, call again and make your request always politely. You always want to be specific about how many points you want the reduction to be about. See, don't just call and say, could you please reduce my car's APR? Don't do that. You want to say, could you please reduce my current credit card's APR from say 17.99% to 12.99%. You want to be specific, very important. Next thing I want you to do here is that you might even think about considering a balance transfer credit card instead. You see, the thing here is that balance transfer cards may give you actually an alternative for getting a lower interest rate on your current credit card's debt, and this may allow you to consolidate your existing balances from multiple cards onto a single no card. The only thing is, when we speak about a balance transfer credit card, you are actually applying for a new credit. Okay, so if you're not really in the mood to apply for new credit, don't do it. But if you really want to have a card that has a lower APR, consider a balance transfer card. Okay, you will want to use a credit card with 0% introductory APR offered for balance transfers to save money on your debt repayment. Okay, and this is kind of cool. And when you think about balance transfer as an alternative to a lower rate, it's really a viable option. Very, really, really, really important. Okay, and because a balance transfer moves basically a balance to a new card, ideally with a lower interest rate. I spoke earlier about making sure that you have 0% introductory APR. This is important. Okay, now there is often a balance transfer fee from a new card issuer, but many issuers offer 0% intro APRs on balance transfers for a year or longer to attract customers trying to dig themselves out of debt. Okay, so this is important. Now, here is a bonus for you. What you want to do is you want to basically see if all the other credit card offers that you get, whether you can convert some of those offers into a balance transfer offer. Okay, this is really important. So instead of just saying, listen, I'm getting competing credit card offers from Wells Fargo, from Bank of America, from Citi. Just look for balance transfer offers, not just regular offers, balance transfer offers. So you basically have two things in one, two good things in one. You have a new card with a lower APR, and you have a long period of time when you have a reprieve in terms of your credit card APR. So this is really great. And so, I'm just giving you here, a lot of gems when it comes to your options. If you ever get denied, if you don't get the lower APR that you need, there are options, boss. There are always options. It's all about strategizing. It's all about having the right idea. Before I close to this conversation, let me give you a few pro tips to kind of help you here, especially when it comes to avoiding, if you want to avoid paying interest on a credit card. Because the whole thing is, if you want to reduce your card's APR, it's because you are carrying balances and those balances are killing you when it comes to the APR, okay? So remember, your card's interest rates will not affect you if you pay off each card's balance in full each month, right? We're speaking here about making sure your CUR is zero. And that may be easier to do when you take advantage of your card's grace period, which most issuers offer, okay? And the grace period is the time between the end of your billing cycle and your payment due date, and this is typically 15 to 21 days. So paying off your total balance before the grace period means what? It really, before the grace period ends, means paying no interest on your charges. But if you carry a balance for even 1 month, your issuer may suspend or eliminate your grace period, meaning you'll pay interest on the outstanding balance and on any new purchases starting from the day you make them. And check if the credit card's terms and conditions are saying the same thing, so you clearly understand how your issuer treats the grace period. And you may regain grace period privileges if you pay off your total balance for a few months in a row. As a general rule though, always bring your balance to zero by the due date, and you won't have to worry about access to the grace period or fast rising interest rate. The thing here is that you have to ask yourself, are you living beyond your means or are you living within your means? Because if you are carrying balances, that means that you are not able to pay off the full balance every month. So that's actually a big foundational question that you need to ask yourself. And it's also very important because, see, listen, the whole thing is, we tell viewers all the time to keep their CUR, their credit utilization ratio, below 30%. But the ideal situation would be what? Would be to have a CUR of 0%. In other words, you carry no balance, so your credit score goes up all the time. Okay, so if you find yourself in a situation where you are constantly carrying balances, that means you need to review. You need to go back to square one. You need to look at your budget. You need to look at your spending patterns and see if you're not living beyond your means. You must be living beyond your means. Thank you so much for your attention. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about how to reduce your credit card's APR. Let me do a recap here. So number one, you want to evaluate your current situation. Number two, you want to build your credit first if you need to. Number three, find competing credit card offers. Number four, you want to understand the credit card company's perspective. Number five, you want to call and make your request. Number six, don't be afraid to negotiate again in the future. And number seven, consider a balance transfer credit card instead. Thank you so much for your attention again. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.